Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Pastor, I've seen VTuber and artist, and today we're going to be working on page 14 a little bit more. So, I'm very small right now. Hang on. There we go. I really wish there was some way to like auto resize myself. Like this is a little bit untenable, right? Like this is not optimal. I think we can all agree that it's not optimal. That every now and again, whenever I want to change outfits, the thing is like this original like scrunkly model that I made for myself, it doesn't have a whole lot in terms of like it's surprisingly small. I made it very small because I just wanted it to be like a super simple one-off thing. I did not know that I would get so attached that it would like become my mainstay model. But I guess that's how life goes sometimes. In any case, the model itself is actually quite small. So even if I ended up like, hang on, I'm on the wrong layer. Even if I ended up resizing it, it might not do any good. And I'm a little afraid of not being able to like capture the original spirit. I don't know. Like the thing is, right? The very frustrating thing about like this specific model is that I'm never gonna be able to like recreate it fully. I made this model with such like loose, don't give a shit energy that I think it's going to be genuinely impossible to fully recreate it on like a larger scale. Like this, like I feel like it would look like that Ecce Homo restoration where it was done by a very nice old lady that the church knew, that she said that she knew how to do painting restorations, and it ended up looking like that. I wonder how she's doing. I feel like, you know, obviously it didn't turn out great. The situation did not end well, but I hope she's doing all right. You know, I feel like she was just genuinely trying her best. So I don't think. I hope she's not having too rough of a time with it. Okay, then over here. There we go. No. I think I'm just going to leave that line there. I feel like maybe even... Hang on. What's going on here? Sometimes when I have my night light on, right? I have the night light setting on my computer on. I have it on right now. I have that on because I'm not too worried about like I've already selected the colors for shading pretty much everything in this page. So I'm not really worried about it anymore. I'm only usually worried when I need to like select colors for it, but otherwise I can kind of work on autopilot, so to speak. But yeah, occasionally when I do have like my nightlight on though, I do have like moments where it's like, all right, does this look wonky because it's just in a different color, or is there like an actual problem? Like right here, for example, the nightlight made it look like there was like a more highlighted purple, like a sort of neon purple right here. And I was worried that I had done that thing where occasionally when you try to use the bucket tool with the shading color, you accidentally hit one of the lines and it like shades the area behind that line, and it can end up pretty bad. Thankfully that wasn't the case. But it could have been, and that's what concerns me. What also concerns me a little bit is what the inside of the ship is going to look like. I've been struggling with the idea of like what that's going to be like, because I don't know if I should make it the same color as Hawk's equipment. Actually, speaking of Hawk's equipment, I do think I need to go back real quick and just do one fast little thing here. But yeah, I don't know if to give it like this metallic cyan color that I give the rest of Hawk's metallic objects on the inside. I feel like that would be the right move, because I feel like whenever I have those metal colors, associating them with a specific character can help like establish like, oh, you know, even if it's subtle, right? Like some people might not pay too much attention to the difference between one metal shade color and the other. But I feel like having that subtle kind of color control, that sort of self-control with the color, I feel like it's going to be useful. Maybe not appreciated, but useful. Yeah, a lot of the stuff with visual arts for me. I don't know. I'm the kind of person who loves to include small details and everything. Not necessarily important ones, but just funny ones. I like to see if whoever I'm showing the drawing to can notice some of those small details. It always delights me when they do, and I'm not disappointed when they don't, because that means I hit them really well. Somebody else might see them eventually. Actually, I might add some more shadows over here. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I'm thinking of making some dumplings tonight for dinner. Actually, I'm probably gonna have dumplings for dinner every night this week. I don't have I like most of the food that I have in my free. Like, I'm going on holiday. Oh yeah, that's something I do want to re-announce once I'm at the end of the stream. But I might as well announce it now as well. I will be having a 2-week holiday coming at the end of the week this week, and I will probably not have. I'll have access to some means of streaming, but I probably won't stream. I don't know. I think it'll be good to take a break, especially if I can finish this damn comic in the time that I'm allowed. Like, I took a look at some of my own Twitch statistics the other day, for like the hours streamed this month, and I'm like, oh damn. Like, I actually went like, oh damn. I don't know. I feel like this is like a good chapter, right? To have a holiday on. The last time I had a break from streaming, it was after the what do you call the garage auction. I'm still super proud of that. I'm never gonna stop tooting my own horn for that one. Like, that was solid. All right. We can add a couple little lines here to the gun. What I'm more concerned about is Horatio's walking stick here. The word is cane. The word I'm looking for is cane. God. So the other day I went to one of those so there's this like outdoors goods store that I really like to go to. And I like to visit it on rare occasions. I always end up buying something when I'm there. So it's good to not like go too often. We deserve a little. You deserve to spend money on yourself on things you like, right? But giving yourself too many of those opportunities is also a dangerous thing. Not to mention, I usually don't need much stuff from like an outdoorsy place. I am not a very outdoorsy person myself. I agree with the lifestyle. I am not partaking. I am not touching grass. Not yet. God, I really need to like instill some. I need to like have the discipline to install some kind of like walking program in my own schedule to take full advantage of summer this year. I feel like I did not. My ass was not walking around at all last year during summertime, and I feel like I really squandered that opportunity. Okay, I'm going to add a small. I don't know. I feel like maybe No, that the problem with hang on. Interesting. Okay. What if I shrink the selection by like 5 pixels and use a sort of more steely blue gray here? Oh yeah, that looks nice. It's like a nice subtle kind of sparkle to it. I like that. Although I do want to, I don't know, what happens if I go up to the borders? Is that going to be a problem? Like this? I feel like that looks fine. I don't see why it should be an issue. I think it can be permitted. I don't think we're going to run into any trouble if we do it like that. Okay, so I feel like this needs like a really like a different color compared to what we had before. Maybe some kind of triumphant yellowish or something like that. Let's just mess around in the color wheel and see what we can find. Blue, I am not feeling. Red might be interesting. I like this color. All right. Hang on, I feel like I need something else. Hang on, let me open up the page 3 reference I have for a ratio. Maybe that'll help. I'm trying to remember what color this boot is supposed to be. Oh, so it's the same color. That's not the same boot that I've been drawing, I feel. Hold up. What? Hang on, I gotta do a quick sense check here. What's it look like in like page 9, for example? I think we only see Horatio's feet very rarely. So it's worth okay, no, this okay, they do look a little bit more like ordinary boots in this one. Oh, that's gonna be that's gonna be a retcon. Alright. Well, that's okay. You know what? I think that's okay. That's fine. Secret sneaker collection. It's fine. God, I don't know. I don't see Horatio as a sneakerhead. I feel like I feel like I cannot see him in that light. Unfortunately. God, I still remember that one Harada tweet about like in Tekken, right? In Tekken, right? You see that Kazuya has like a huge collection of sneakers for whatever reason, and I guess that's just his hobby. You know, I got supervillains are allowed to have hobbies. I'm not going to judge him for that. But what really struck me was the fact that like he had such a large collection, and like in a tweet, Harada clarified that like the sneakers had later crumbled to dust because of hydrolysis or something like that. I didn't even know sneakers could crumble like that. I didn't know that hydrolysis was a thing. I didn't know that sneakers had like uh, a status effect. Hmm. I don't know. I feel like I always underestimate how much of a role moisture plays in a lot of this bullshit. Yeah, I believe sneakers can just die if you leave them to sit in your collection. Yeah. Yeah, it really is crazy just how moisture dependent a lot of bullshit is. Like today, I learned that in that like where my parents are at, right? They need to have like they need to keep the foundation of the house watered, or else the clay in the foundation won't hold up properly. Wait, the shoes are different in here too. Why did I just pop off and make them into sneakers in this one frame? Am I stupid? Chat, chat as he cooks. Chat, he might be cooked. Anyway, yeah, I found out that my parents' house is built on a foundation of compacted clay, and essentially what that means is that if they don't water the foundation every now and again and keep the clay in the foundation moisturized, the clay will shrink and the house will be damaged by like the clay changing shape under the foundation. Like it's just dirt. It's fucked up that just dirt can do that. There's like a Dungeons and Dragons spell called Sunder, and I'm imagining that's the shit that happened to Kazuya's shoe collection. What's crazy is that on the other day I saw this one tweet that was like, I think it was a Dan Henschel tweet that was like just taught a child a very important lesson about standing near cliffs, and like half of the quote retweets were just pictures of Heihachi. That's a sick joke. Why did Heihachi do all that, by the way? Did we ever establish a firm reason why he just kept throwing his children off of cliffs? Like, obviously, it was to test if they were strong or not, but I feel like there's other ways you could approach that situation, brother. Oh, yeah, it was very funny, but it was also sick work. Another person posted a photo of that one manga, Blood on the Tracks, and that was crazy. I only know that manga because of like a Super Eye Patch Wolf video, but even I understand that that's a fucked up joke to make. God, the Heihachi Reddit "Am I the Asshole" post would be crazy. Like, I, 78-year-old, threw my child, 4-year-old male, into off a cliff to test his strength, and now he wants bloody vengeance on me for it. Am I the asshole? Like, we make a lot of jokes that Heihachi loved Kuma more than his own children, but like, it's not. I don't think it's a joke anymore. I think that guy just hated humanity. Or the concept of having to deal with humans. To be fair, Kuma does kick ass, so I understand why he did that, but like at the same time, dude, I beseech you to learn to prioritize. We could have avoided all of this shit if you had treated your son with 1/3 of the kindness you treated that bear. And now Reina's also running around. I don't know what her deal is. Maybe she got thrown off a cliff as well. It's impossible to know. God, that's gonna be a crazy thing to have to deal with in Tekken 9 when we find out that Reina was like thrown off a cliff, and that's how she awakened the Mishima bloodline powers. I think that's also what happened to Baki in that manga as well. I don't know. Getting thrown off a cliff seems to be part of the hero's journey for some of these meatheads. And granted, then I don't think we found out that she threw herself off the cliff to test her own strength. God. Like, she's just got the WikiHow article on how to activate your Mishima bloodline open for no on her phone, and she's like, "All right, okay, so I activated my demon gene. Now step 9, throw yourself off. That can't be right. Throw yourself off a cliff." Yeah, take the initiative. One dude who promises to adopt the Mishima training style for his own family, but it becomes increasingly clear that he's just kind of a pervert about throwing himself off a cliff. He comes back perfectly fine every time, but it's starting to get a little bit weird. Like, he seems to be really into getting thrown off of cliffs. The Cliffer. Wait, no, that's a big red dog. Hang on. We need an alternative title for this guy. The Jumper. What? Okay, so I'm sure there's no good linguistic reason for this because English is such a BS language. Why do the British people call sweaters jumpers? Clifford, no, bad dog! Yo, the Clifford Tekken AU would go crazy. I remember really liking the Clifford TV show as a kid. That rascally massive dog sure get into some hijinks with his smaller dog friends. Alright, let's see here. Actually, first, before I do all that, gotta remember to add the Miss Frizzle pattern to this guy. But yeah, Harada is crazy for having getting thrown off a cliff be like a motif in his story. Why did bro do all that? Oh, I see. Alright, if I go back real quick and check in on this. No, I need page 10. Wait, I don't think our ratio is in page 10. I think I'm looking for page 11. Origin uncertain, perhaps from French jupe, skirt, see jupe, or from some notion in jump. Huh. Yeah, I feel like it's definitely got to be like one of those weird things where somebody just like called it that, and then everybody kind of like followed suit for no other reason than we can call it that, I guess. Oh, here we go. Wait, huh? Oh, I see what I did here. Okay. Hang on. All right, select color gamut, this one here. Copy, paste that over here, and then set the multiply. All right. Yeah, I think we've got this thing down. All right, this panel should be fine. Although maybe we can add something here, right? Oh, wait, actually, I forgot to do this part here. So hold up. Before I pull out old reliable urchin pattern, let me do this. Okay, then over here. Okay, then we're gonna swing up over here. I'm not finding very good answers, but I didn't know that jumper is considered a subgenre of platforming games. What? But what? Then, but isn't now I'm also confused. Hold up, isn't jumping the whole point of platformers for the most part? Forgive me if I'm mistaken, but I assume that because like the point is from getting from platform to platform, jumping is kind of like an essential component. Why? This reminds me a little bit of how like Smash players have like a slightly different lexicon for everything. Is that what this is? Is that like did somebody just like say, "Ah, oh, dude, our game is so unique and different. We need to have like a whole different like genre for this." Chad, is jump killing a jumper? I feel like that's a trick question. I feel like the answer is going to be no to that. I don't think that Jump King is a jumper genre game for the platformer genre within the jumper subgenre of platformers. Do they have a definition for what jumpers are? Like what the genre is about? Like what are its conventions? What defines a jumper from a non-jumper? Is this like something that a layperson can grasp, or do we need to get like an expert in here? Now I'm just imagining some insufferable fucking YouTuber being like, huh, starting beef with another YouTuber and being like, huh, that guy wouldn't know his jumpers from his platformers. Wiktionary, you can't just say things. Ah, shit. And cite a book from 2002. All right, that's how I know. That's how I know that this is bullshit. I don't know. I feel like Wiktionary is a dear friend to me, but I feel like it also occasionally just says shit that's not true. I remember the other day we had an argument in V's server about whether espantaviejas is like an actual word, and it turns out that it is in some places of in like Latin and South America. Honestly, espantaviejas gets a pass because it's just a very funny word as a concept. Maiden repellent is like such a powerful curse to grant on another. That reminds me how I once picked up a book called Of Dice and Men, right? And I thought that it was I was trying to learn a little bit about D&D, and I thought Of Dice and Men was about playing D&D, but it was like this one dude talking about his experiences just around like the development and creation of the game, and how that led to a whole bunch of other things, including like a LARPer thing. Jumper from clothing seems to have come from a short coat worn over other clothing. Okay. Hmm. I need to increase the values in some of these peaks. I need to move this line a little bit back. Oh yeah. Funny thing that I learned the other day. If you look up, I was trying to. I saw the other day that in V server reposted a joke about how about like somebody switching to formal usted because of like a life changing experience. And I actually wanted to look up if Spanish had an equivalent of the Japanese concept of keigo, which is just like formal speech. You know, it's like the level of politeness that you have in your vocabulary at any given time. And I didn't find an equivalent, but what I did find out is that the citation that Wiktionary uses for keigo in the sense of of like polite speech or like the formality in your speech comes from a Clomp manga. They use manga as a citation for keigo, which is awesome. I think that's hilarious. I wonder how it ended up that way. Also, I need to cut out this line here. I will say that the one pretty cool thing about English is that because it just steals words from so many other languages, you can often figure out more or less which language something came from. Like eventually you're able to be like, oh, okay, so this word came from this one. Also, I really hate to say this, but I don't like how this looks. I think I preferred it without the white spark. Unless, hang on, I've got another idea. First of all, we do need to get rid of this line here. It's just really cramping the style. Then the other thing is, yeah, there we go. That's the ticket. Playing the speed painted reverse. God. But yeah, I think I know what it was missing now. I think the fact that I didn't have. Hang on. I think lacking that circle in the middle, adding that transparency in the middle really helps to sell the impact of this one. Okay, and then over here. This one's still missing a little bit of a valley. Okay. And you know what? Just for me, I am going to add the urchin effect. Why not? And I'm going to paint it white. Alright, cool. Now we get to work on this panel, which is going to be a flippin' mess, but that's okay. Alright, we'll work on these two first. I think for this one we can kind of go ahead and... Hold up. This might take up just a small amount of time. Okay, then move this one up here. Why is the sole of the boot here so thick? You should not be that thick. Reduce. Cease. You should not be that thick. Me, whenever I see fan art of Genshin Impact characters, when they have clearly too generous an interpretation of their real proportions. I try not to be a hater on Genshin Impact too often. It's like the thing is, I feel like if I hate on Genshin Impact too often, I feel like I'm going to become like one of those people that only brings up the things that they hate. And the thing is, I don't even have particularly strong hatred against Genshin Impact to begin with. Like, obviously, yeah, it's not great that it's a gambling simulator. Like, that's not great. But the same could be said of like Arknights, and I don't take pot shots at Arknights often or at all. I don't think I don't know. I can't remember a time when I've taken pot shots at Arknights. You should always be mean about gacha games. It is always, right? Not really. Hard to take many shots at AK besides gambling, which is in all of them. Yeah, that is the thing, isn't it? Like, you know, Arknights is gambling, so but the same could be said of all gacha games. So I feel like maybe having that in the in like the demerits of it, or I guess okay, this is gonna sound weird. Not all gambling is made equal, right? Like there are some that have like much more predatory gambling than others. But the issue is that it's all still gambling at the end of the day. Oh, I see. I have area scaling turned up by 1. That's why it's all messy like that. All right. I should save my work. God. The other day, like earlier today, actually, I think I saw a poll going around in Tumblr that's like, who would win in a fight? And it had like this one dude from Arknights who's called like the Emperor's Blade. And it had a fucking Emperor, the Penguin. And like the thing is that Emperor the Penguin wins that, and it's not even close. Emperor the Penguin like belongs in an entirely different genre of video game. Is the thing. I don't know. Out of all the different shenanigans that happen in Arknights, I do think the stuff with the Penguin Logistics folks is still some of my favorite. Particularly Emperor. I just think it's funny conceptually that one of the most powerful beings we've seen in the setting is just a random rapper that seems to be unkillable and operates on Looney Tunes logic. Putting scientists to work to find an easy point to attack Arknights over that doesn't require being deeply entrenched in the game. Yeah, like that's the thing, is that Arknights has its flaws for sure, but you have to be like at least like 2 or 3 levels deep into that game to make them. There should be more women wearing pads. This I agree with. You know, there's that one thing of like, like he or she would not fucking say that. I feel like there's an important caveat where like he or she should be wearing pants. Like sometimes I look at some of these people and I'm like, that motherfucker would not wear a skirt. Nuh-uh. You cannot fool me. Most of its popular rivals do X, Y, and Z problems worse. Yeah. I don't know. It's been a hot minute since I took a look into the cesspool of gotcha gambling. There might be people who are doing it even worse than that at this point, or better. But I guess the only, again, like the main way you can make your gotcha game way better is by not attaching gambling to it. It's that easy. I don't know. Again, I feel like I don't have particularly strong opinions about gotcha games, which disqualifies me from talking about them at length. Again, like the only one that I have like zero grudges or bad memories with is World Flipper. I named that one. I was eventually like, all right, time to shut this baby down. That is a good thing, I think. Oh, undeniably. Like never have like having my only gotcha game experience be what do you call? Hang on, is this the right layer? No, it's not. Having my only gotcha game experience be like three games that I played for any amount of length of any meaningful length of time total. I feel like I've gotten off light. Some people have that shit on their phones like it's a life sentence. That's number three. Oh, what's number three? Okay, so it's Fate Grand Order, World Flipper, and Arknights. Those are the main three that I spent any kind of meaningful amount of time on. Yeah, in Fate Grand Order, I like witnessed a summer event where like they were all the servants were going to Comic Con, and I was like, yeah, this peaked right here. I never need to play this stupid ass game again after this. Like that's the thing is that I always quit the game whenever I feel like I've accomplished something, either because I pulled a character that I really wanted, or I cleared an event that I wanted to see in person. Yeah, and for FGO that turned out to be the Summer 3 event, and for Arknights that turned out to be pulling Nien. Like I pulled Nien in Arknights, and I was like, yeah, no, that's it. I'm done. I'm out of the game. I got the funny dragon lady. That's time. Stop the clock. Like I got that jobless dragon loser, and I was like, oh yeah, we've reached peak. It's so funny to me that every single time that Nien comes up, it's like she's unemployed. As if that's like a relevant part. I do occasionally watch some of the Lee's Detective Agency animations in that pop up here and there. Those are really charming. Mm. Okay, then go back here. Perfect. People seem to really like the Ryan Lab spin-off comic that ended up tied in with the event. Oh, I haven't checked out that one yet. I don't know. It might not be a bad idea to brush up on my Arknights lore at some point. Just to make sure I've got everything straight. Because Arknights has some very crazy world building that I feel I haven't taken the proper time to appreciate. Okay. Put these straps on. I need to not get too ambitious and forget to draw a hawk. Yeah. Oh yeah, weren't they also planning on making like a tie-in video game, kind of like how Grand Blue was, and kind of how Grand Blue has like Relink now? I hope they keep working on that. Clueless, cuteness spectrum ranging from the CB animated shorts to maybe Ryan Lab or the anime adaptation of the game. I forgot that they had an anime adaptation of Arknights as well. Was that like, did that air, or am I tripping? Like I feel like it did air at some point and I just wasn't paying attention. I feel like that's an entirely possible outcome that I just was not paying attention. I was not locked in, and I completely missed the debut of the Arknights anime. Forget any like canon tie-in materials. The only canon material to me is the Harlequin Wheels animations for promotional animations for the game. It has more than one season, I think. Felt like nobody was talking about it. However, I do block out much gotcha gabbing. Yeah, that's fair. Still, that is surprising that nobody's been talking about it. I feel like that's a pretty heavy condemnation by itself that nobody's talking about the Arknights anime. Did you know that the Nier Automata anime came out? I feel like I did hear about that, but again, nobody's been yapping about it. Either nobody in my friend circle cares very much about those properties, or about the spin-offs of those properties to point it out. I don't know. I feel like I would have heard something if it was a can't miss experience, you know? God. It's crazy that Nier Automata came out like, what, 10 plus years ago by this point, and it's still printing money for Yoko Taro. The gang has updated the canon main character lesbian, Signalis. Nier does have gay people in it, though. That is true. If I recall correctly, like there's at least a few gay people running around in Nier. Oh yeah, it is Signal's Day today, isn't it? Like it's like May, it's 5/12, which is a greatly recurring number in Signalis, I believe. Yeah, that's cool. Shout outs to an indie game that takes over the minds and thoughts of the people who play it for at least a few days. I feel like some people are more strongly influenced by Signalis than by others. Like, I definitely felt like it was a powerful experience, but I'm not as sick in the head about it as some other people. I haven't developed the right muscles for that yet. I'm only a level 1 Yuri warrior. I can't be expected to appreciate such finesse. Yeah, I'm a yellow belt Yuri warrior. Skellboy Emil is gay. That might be the most prominent character in Nier, unless the mobile game has more. Had more, yeah. Now the mobile game is dead. I think. Did it suffer from the Persona 5 curse? I feel like it suffered from the Persona 5 curse. If you've never, I remember there was like a thing where like if Persona 5 collaborates with your game, it like shuts down shortly afterwards. I think it did. Oof. Man, that's gotta hurt. Like you get this cool game that everybody's been talking about to collaborate with your game, and you think life is going great, and then all of a sudden your servers are down, your player base is dwindling, the funds are drying up, the birds are dying in front of your studio in like in an ill omen that portends to a doomed fate. That's crazy. Wouldn't happen to me though. Had I been there, that wouldn't have happened to me. Liberating the world from gacha games by collaborating with Persona 5 before they drop Persona 6. Got it. I can't wait for everybody to love Persona 6 for approximately 5 to 6 for like 8 months or so until they finish fucking beating the game, and then like immediately reversing their opinion and being like, actually it's shit, and the fan base is annoying. It's like one of those illusion of free choice memes, except the road in the middle is like 5 more months of Persona discourse. I do think that is the noblest sacrifice Persona 5 can make if it ends up making it, is that they like deflect all future discourse of the series onto themselves. Okay. Then over here. What would be the dumbest thing to collaborate with Persona 5? I'm thinking a bank. I think it would be really funny if a bank in Japan just collaborated had a Persona 5 collab. Persona 5 may curse your game, but perhaps Like a Dragon 8 will bring you infinite wealth. God. I can't wait like 5 or 6 years down the line when I finally fucking finish playing all the Yakuza games in my Steam library and I can finally play Yakuza 8. And by that point, like Yakuza 13 will be out. Did you hear like those rumblings that they're planning to make it like an annual series? I feel like that's such a bad idea. I could not think of a worse idea than that. They're gonna remake Dead Souls? Fuck yeah! God, I hope they do remake Dead Souls, and I hope it tanks the franchise for like 2 or 3 years so that they drop the plans to make annual games. I feel like this is the only way for it to prosper. In order to avoid catastrophe, we need to remake Dead Souls. Also, I don't think I'm gonna color the inside of the ship like the same color as Hawk's jetpack and everything. I think I'm gonna make it like this light purple. Like a Dragon X Dead Rising. This is what saves the Dead Rising franchise, and I'm not even joking. I remember playing through all of Dead Rising 3 on PC on a computer that could barely run it. I so badly want there to be a good Dead Rising game on PC. Actually, I think they ported over Dead Rising 2, which is I don't know. Like I feel like I never really truly understood a lot of the hate that Dead Rising 3 got. I thought like originally it was mostly like the fact that it was like an Xbox One exclusive for a little while. At least I think it was. But yeah, no. Could you imagine the insane heat moves Kiryu could do if he had like the Dead Rising tool set of weapons? A zombie would be killed in in Kamurocho, and its corpse would end up in Oklahoma from how hard it got owned. We need to make Ichiban endure the zombie apocalypse. Actually, I feel like that, like if they do end up making another Dead Souls game, Ichiban is going to be in that sucker. Yeah, the Yakuza Dead Souls remake is going to have an Ichiban DLC side story mode. He's going to have a field day as a gamer. God. Alternatively, Ichiban is the first one to die in a zombie apocalypse. and he's just like, "Ah, man, we finally get to do all this the zombie apocalypse thing. This is so cool. It's just like what I'd always played for my video games." And he immediately gets bitten, and he's like, "Oh, fuck." I feel like Ichiban would have that kind of luck. Hmm. What kind of flooring should the inside of the ship have? They do a fake out death to keep him from oversaturating the game with references? God. Poor Ichiban. Arcade carpet / J. I did think about carpet, but like the thing is, I feel like that's also not necessarily the arcade carpet, mind, but I don't know, some kind of carpet. But I don't know. I feel like that's also not really speaking to me. This is such bullshit. We never should have invented flooring. I mean, I don't know what. Hang on, I think I know what might help me to understand. What if I looked up like plain, like World War II plain floor? Like, what's that look like? Huh. Mostly wood, which is interesting. Or I guess this outside part is metal, and this... I don't know, this middle part looks kind of woody. It's wood-esque. the fire extinguisher being right here is kind of crazy. God, this would suck so bad to die in. I remember reading about the fact that like some of these ended up getting so hot that the pilots had to like take off all their clothes in there and whatnot. Suck to be them. Okay, this is kind of like more what I was expecting. So maybe we figure out. Hang on. What about some kind of middle ground? Maybe like with this metallic color from the grenades. Hmm. I don't know. Ooh, I kind of like this one. Landing in a random plane and the pilots turn around their seats confused, but buck naked? God. They're like, bro, why did you take your clothes off? And they're like, it's hot. It's hot out here. God. Being under gunfire, being stupid sweaty, and naked in a cockpit. That would have to be like the worst, right? Like, I feel it doesn't get much worse than that. Hmm. Hang on, do I have that texture of like metal flooring? Let me see if I have that in my among my possessions. Also, I do appreciate that the Clip Studio app now does actually send you directly to the marketplace. I was seriously I was seriously angry that like they dicked around so much with like the placement of the. Hang on. Okay, never mind. They have the top materials in the marketplace on display as on Startup, but you don't have the search function of the marketplace on Startup, which is a genuine bummer because why would I not? Why would I need that? All right, what do I need? Actually, wait, metal floor. Hey, here we go. Corrugated steel. Cliff heard you complimenting it and said, "Let me do something real quick." I'm not even signed in. God damn it. What do you mean you need my password? I'm the same dude. Fucking all right. Hold up. This is gonna like be a whole federal issue. Bro, log me in. It's me. It's me. You know me. All right, hang on. It says that I'm re-downloading it. What do you mean? This material cannot be downloaded as it is currently being. You know what? I'm just gonna. Okay, there we go. It showed up. Serénate. Siente que la calma. Siéntete calmarte a ti mismo. All right, so we're gonna reduce the size of this significantly, and then we're gonna do some perspective transformation on this bad boy. This perspective transformation business is a lot more difficult than I remember it being. The thing is that there's also like an actual perspective ruler that you can use, or not perspective ruler, an actual perspective transform that can be used, but it's always much more difficult than I remember it being. Like here we go. Like right, I'm in the perspective ruler mode now. Like it's almost too much of an extreme, you know what I mean? I might have to do some wizard magic on the floor later, but this is good enough for now. Okay, so then we're going to need to make another layer for everything else. Also, I realized just now that I forgot to add lights to the inside of the ship. That's going to be problematic. Unless, hold up. Hang on. Actually, come to think of it, in that picture that we saw of the inside of a warbird, where do they keep the lights on this shit? Do they just not have any back here? I mean, I guess that makes sense. This was back in the era where, like, you weren't supposed to, like, light a cigarette between 3 people. But, like, no lights? No lights at all? Just, this adds such an awful layer of additional badness to the whole image that we had earlier of like a bunch of some dudes drowning in their own sweat, butt naked, and getting shot at, and also you can't see a damn thing. It's like dark inside. Oh my god. Well, that's what you get for living before electricity was invented, sucker. That being said, there's still the conundrum of where to add the lights here. I was thinking of adding something up here, maybe. But I feel like having something here up top where, like, the kind of like rib cage of the thing is would be better. But then I'd have to add that back here. And among the other spaces. I mean, I don't know. It could just be as simple as having, like, I don't know, like, I think... Oh, wait. Hang on. I've got an idea for how to do this, actually. Just do it like an actual airplane where it has... Hang on. Plane interior. Yeah, see how like a modern airplane has the lights coming in from like this trunk area? I feel like we could kind of do the same thing. You know, given that we have the thing all the way back here. Now, it doesn't need to be too bright, I guess. Or you could use a personal light. Not to mention there would be lights come up here near the cockpit. I think that's the way to go. I think what we do is that we make the inside of the ship not too bright. And we have the light coming up from up top here. Okay. That feels like a solid plan. Let's execute on that. Okay, and then we use the rough eraser up top. It's a pretty drastic change to the light, but what the hell? Also, this brush is like way too thick. We need to tone it like way down. Okay. Wrong. All right, where? How did it? Oh. All right, let's try this. All right. Not bad, not bad. Let's use a soft eraser. Or maybe the kneaded eraser. Now, see, I feel like now I've made the dark on the inside of the ship too dark. Hang on, let's just do this like this. Okay. Select color gamut. Listen. Okay, how can we make this look like less drastic, but with the exact same kind of like difference in tone? Maybe brightness contrast might be a better tool to use for this. Hmm. Nope. I think for the time being, it is going to be a matter of just trust the process. Let's see. Let's see. I think if I continue working with the idea of, okay, this is where the light is coming from, I think eventually I'll understand what I am doing wrong. Maybe even. Hang on. Like the thing is, it doesn't look like it's being illuminated. It looks like it's like a portal to the outside world here. So I'm wondering how it's possible to maybe reduce that perception. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, no, that's not working. All right, back to plan. Did we have a plan that we're going back to? I don't know. Back to the struggle, I suppose. Hmm. I gotta step my game up. We're not finishing this page today if I keep dawdling. And you bet we're gonna finish this page today. I ran the numbers, and unless I finish this page today, I'm kind of cooked for finishing before I take my holiday break. Like, I'm not expecting page 15 to be particularly arduous, but I'm not gonna underestimate it either. Actually, no, page 15 will definitely be easier than this one, but I am still not underestimating it. I try to underestimate as few things as possible in my life, but yet I still seem to occasionally get caught up in my own hubris. Man, it's like one of those things where, like, the more you think about it, the worse it gets. Well, even if it is like that. So the work still needs to be completed at some point, so it's no use panicking about it. It'll get done or it won't. We'll accomplish it or we won't. That's just how it is. Of course, there are some things you can do to rig the deck in your favor, so to speak. Okay. And add this one here. Oh yeah. Today I ended up finally getting a physical copy of The House of Leaves, and I'm really excited to kind of start reading that one over the summer. I feel like it's been a long time since I've read like an honest to goodness book, and I feel like this one is definitely not a good one to get started with, but it's one that I've been meaning to get into, so I think that's more important sometimes than like my quote unquote skill level. I don't know, it's kind of interesting how like people still make books that are super inventive and whatnot. But I feel like it's been a while since I've heard about a book that is kind of like on the mindfuckery level of like House of Leaves. I feel like it might be one of a kind book. Although that might not be entirely true. Today, while I was talking about it with my parents, oh, Happy Mother's Day, by the way, to those of you who have parents parents that you're close to. Yeah, go call your mom if you're on good terms with her. I was talking about this with my parents, and we discovered that apparently it has like it's part of like this genre called ergotic, I think it is literature or something, and it is like very much. I feel like it suggests what I understood from its description is that it's kind of like books and works that require you to like think hard about where you are in them because they try to be as misleading as possible in an effort to capture the kind of rhythm of the story that they want to have. I think that's pretty neat. Uh, while on some level it's not nice to experience them, I do appreciate the certain works where it's just like where they don't explain a damn thing and are just like, yeah, no, that's how it is. What are you gonna do about it? Like that's why, despite all my misgivings with it, I can't really say I dislike Killer 7. Like Killer 7 is difficult to understand narratively. I had a hard time with it mechanically, but it's still a fascinating game. And I'm sure somebody who has more, more of an in-depth analysis would be able to do it more justice, but I feel like it has a lot of things to say if you pay attention to it. Like it's very much a very strange and dreamlike experience, but it has commentary on a lot. It has commentary on like exploitation of labor. It has commentary on the nature of like the cult of personality, on the cycles of violence of war. I don't know. It's such a fascinating game, and it's such a shame that I didn't enjoy playing it more. But I could not, like, I tried with it till the very end, but I just could not fuck with Killer 7. I'm sorry. May all have better luck eventually with like Flower, Sun, and Rain. The thing is, right? I played the DS version of Flower, Sun, and Rain, but the thing is that the DS version has like 1,500 extra puzzles or some shit that are completely original to the DS version, and they're all like these logic puzzles that are kind of obtuse. So it's a little bit hard to deal with them sometimes. Like the first few, I had no idea how to figure out. I had to like get a guide to get through them, and I get the feeling that that's going to be a common feeling throughout the game. It is one of those games that I would experience better with like a guide opened right next to me. There's no shame in doing that. I finished Fallout 2 that way, and I had a great time with that game. I had an okay time with that game. I made some memories with that game. I'm not going to comment on the quality of time that I had or did not spend with that game. Okay. Hang on, I gotta do something real quick. Select color gamut. Increase by like 1 pixel. Yeah, that looks much more natural. I was wondering, I thought to myself that the color of the shade for a ratio skin seemed a little bit too harsh. Looks like I was right on the money. I was using a wrong one. Okay. Then over here. All right. I don't know. Wasn't there like I'm going back to the topic of books that I've heard about recently. Wasn't there like a book not too long ago that for some reason blew up really fast, like How to Win the Time War? And it was because of like some Trigon Yaoi account on Twitter like cold drop recommending the book and being like, don't look up anything about it, just read this book and it's gonna be awesome. And for some reason, like the book blew up because of that. That's still such a crazy story. How to Lose a Time War. Right. That one. I don't know. I feel like if I ever set up like court eunuchs to advise me on my empire, I do think most of them are gonna have to end up being Fujoshis. I feel like that's just a sound move strategically. Like, look how many copies of that book they moved. And yeah, the Trigun Yaoi. It was also generally a good book that was already semi-popular, but it definitely blew up on Twitter and re-rose up the list. Oh. Fujoshis keep the fandoms running. For real. Listen, pervert women keep the lights on. This is known. That's just how this industry works. They carry the world on their shoulders. I remember a little while back, I saw some posts in the fucking Kagurabachi Reddit where it's like where like they kept being super excited whenever like yaoi art of Kagurabachi started appearing on like Pixiv and such, because that was like their litmus test for like what the series having legs. They were like, "Save us, Joshi, save us!" What a time to be alive. Okay, then over here. Maybe we need a little less shadow on this arm. What is that emoji? Hold up. Oh, it's a salute emoji. It shows up super weird on my monitor. Hang on. Let me show you what it looks like on my monitor. It looks like some kind of odd circle. You might not like it, but this is what a salute looks like. They remind me a little bit of those like half moon cookies, you know? Like those ones that's like one side chocolate, one side vanilla frosting. I'm kind of hungry actually. I'm gonna need to hustle on those dumplings once I finish up stream. I don't know. I feel like it's been a minute since I've made cookies or really baked anything. Rice beamed my salute. Yeah. Hey, sorry, I lens flared your salute emoji. I hope that's okay. Yeah, I put your emoji through the machine that generates all the lens flares in action movies. Yeah, it saturated it up pretty badly, and now you can't even see the hand. Yeah, it's gonna happen again. My bad. I gotta hurry up and establish more lore for myself so I can finally have my beam attack back. I had that for no goddamn reason way back when, but I was like, you know what? Nah, it's kind of silly for me to. It's a little bit too silly for me to have a beam attack. It's too overpowered. I'm not gonna use that thing responsibly. And granted, even if I did have a beam attack again, I would. It's not like I'd whip it out every single time. You know, like if something displeased me, I just like smack it away from me like some kind of cat. But still, I kind of miss having a beam attack every now and again. I need like a rice beam revival. I need to like have a shin Pabs or Pabs -1 to establish why I have the beam attack. Yo, there was I remember speaking of Godzilla -1, I really hope that comes on streaming soon. Everybody kept saying that it was peak, and I missed my chance to tap in since it hasn't been released digitally since the time it was in theaters, I believe. But I think like shortly after they released Godzilla -1, there was like this short film where it was a really interesting design. Hang on. Hang on. Where do they have the one? Like there was like this one Twitter short film. Yeah, here we go. Hold on. Like there was this idea for a design for Godzilla's head to resemble like a mushroom cloud. Yeah, here we go. Here's another picture. I think this is the scariest Godzilla ever. Like it looks ridiculous, but it also feels very menacing. I don't know. I think it's one of the most interesting concepts for it that I've seen yet. I remember there were like a bunch of Twitter translated reviews of people over on the Japanese site that watched Godzilla versus Kong, the sequel movie that's coming out. And they were like, I feel like I'm losing brain cells. Like universally, it was a very stupid movie, and I feel like I'm losing my brain cells, but I can't stop smiling, which I think is a good sign. I don't know. I'm not about to defend the Godzilla versus Kong movies as high art, but I'm glad that people are having fun with them. Hmm. I'm so proud of myself for fixing the shoe. God, I recently Leah sent me this one compilation of TikToks where this guy is just introducing a bunch of different animals in a really aggro way. And I still remember the one for the shoe bill because it's like one of the first one. It's like one of the first ones shown, and it's like, this goofy ass motherfucker is called the shoe bill. I need to like seek out the full version of some of those videos because I feel like I'd really enjoy them. I feel like they'd have some cool animal facts, and I do love those. I do enjoy animal facts. I do feel like animal facts are a sort of once in a while kind of food. You know what I mean? Like you can't binge on animal facts. You need to like slowly develop your repertoire over time. You can't go like maxing out your animal facts in one day. Otherwise, you stop caring about like the individual facts, and you become like jaded. Like, I guess that's pretty interesting. Like if you absorb too much animal knowledge in one day, you become like desensitized to how beautiful our world is. You need to like absorb it piecemeal by piecemeal. Otherwise, you're going to completely lose track of the subject. Okay. I don't know. Maybe what can help is to have this part be illuminated outward. Oh, wait, hang on. I think I might have figured out the solution to my conundrum from earlier. We don't have an actual like light source. You know what I mean? We don't have a proper light from our light source. The light of lightness, the dark, the ness of nessness. Honestly, just having that is pretty good. Although I should have done that on a different layer. I recognize that now. There we go. Yeah, I feel like that tracks pretty well. Maybe even we can. Yeah, somehow that looks much more natural. Okay. Nice. We can even have something over here. Yeah, okay. Okay. So I think the next step is to add a few things right here. So I'm gonna use the, I don't know, maybe one of the crosshatches might be good for this. Just to darken it a little bit, or to give it some texture. Okay, darken this, darken this, darken that. All right. We'll do the same thing for this other one. Okay. Then next up, I think we are pretty much done with this layer. Well, no, we're still missing a couple of parts. Let's not neglect those just yet. For example, the Horatio's actual... Yeah, a lot's still missing, actually. Let's not take it easy just yet. Okay, and then over here, that's going to change up like that. This one, and this one. We also need to shade the straps on the jetpack. But that'll be pretty easy. Okay, and then over here and over here. Right, we also need to shade the staff. God. Earlier today, I went out to. I mentioned how I bought a physical copy of The House of Leaves, and I'm very excited for that. But what I'm even more excited about is that during this same shopping trip, I ended up getting a new head for my broom. My old one was getting kind of nasty, and so I was like, I haven't changed the head of my broom since I was in university. Let's see what we can get. And so I ended up buying this one. So I originally got my broom from the dollar store, is the thing. I say I got my broom. I got my broom components from the dollar store. It was kind of like a DIY sort of shit. You bought the broom handle, and then you also bought the broom head, and then you just kind of like assembled it because I guess that's the most economic way they found to have multiple options for broom sales. I guess it makes sense because then you don't buy broom handles nearly as much as you buy, or like as much as you would buy broom heads, right? Like a broom head breaking is pretty normal, but a broom handle breaking is a much rarer occurrence. So it makes sense that they would have customization options for the head, and lots of customization options for the head, and fewer for the handle. But yeah, I ended up buying a new broom head, not a new broom handle. Although I did buy a new dustpan as well. And let me tell you, I thought I got ripped off like 3 minutes into using my new broom because the a part of it snapped off. Like I got this like one of those angled broomsticks that look like this, right? And this is the broom handle. But the thing is, it had like this outer, like the actual shape of the broom head was like this, and there was like an outer shell of plastic around it for it to be easier to move around and display. So 3 minutes in, I hadn't realized that. So 3 minutes into using my new broom, I thought I'd broken it, or it had broken because I like exerted like too much energy on it. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna need to go buy another new broom. But no, it was fine. The broom head was just broken, or no, it wasn't even broken. The outer shell that it came with got snapped off, and I did like properly attach it. It's fine. Like it's genuinely fine. It was just like some kind of weird cast off experience. I don't know. I feel like that's a sick thing to package your broom as because I actually thought that I'd broken it. Like I was so ready to accept that I had like lost control of like my brutish strength and just broke that poor broom head. Thankfully, that wasn't the case. So it looks like my power still hasn't reached the levels that could be considered inhuman. I'll get there someday, though. I'll get there someday. I'm sure. Don't give up. You too can reach powers unfathomable to mankind by abandoning your humanity someday as well. Never give up. Okay, and then over here. Okay. Now I just need to install the Miss Frizzle layer. Scale / rotate. All right, and then what I need to do is I need to put this over here. I need to select this, increase by 1. Okay, and right, I forgot that that's how it goes. And then we multiply this one. Where's the multiply button? There we go. Why? Huh? Eh? Oh, I think I see what happened. Okay, hang on. No, wait, I don't see what happened. What the hell? Wait, hold up. Select color gamut, this one here. Okay, there we go. All right, now we've got it. Mission accomplished. Although we still have a lot to draw on this page. Actually, how does it look with the metal studs right now? It could be better. Also, we should probably add some kind of background here. So it's not just this kind of grayish beige. Well, no, that's not beige per se. That's just gray. I'm going to add this slightly different gray that's accurate to what's going on outside. There we go. All right, now we can leave all this behind and start working on Hawk. Hold on, I just remembered one last thing that I forgot to shade in this last one. This is the last thing. This is the last thing, I promise. I forgot to add the jetpack color. It's fine up. It's actually bugging me up here. Hold up. I was going to say, it's fine up here, but it isn't. It's bugging me. And if it bugs me, it has to go. No mercy. Okay. Yeah, hopefully Hawk is not going to take too long to shade. Okay. Then the pants. The helmet's the same color as the shirt. This has the color of the leather straps. The thing is, I have to consider the shading for these next few panels to be like an investment into the future panels. Like, remember how I managed to knock out page 15's line art in like one stream? If I play my cards smart, I might be able to do that for the shading and the coloring as well. Just need to do minuscule changes here and there. At least that's what I'm hoping. The situation could turn out to be much worse. Although I doubt it. And the worst part is I don't think it'll be much better if it is worse. Or no, the other way around. It can get worse, but I don't think it'll get better. Which is a grim thought to have, but that's how it is. But yeah, I'm finishing this comic this week, though. You can trust on that. I'm not gonna give up when I'm this close, you know? I'll find something to cut out. Sleep, food, something. But you bet that this comic will get done. Doubt anything, but do not doubt that. This project shall not live to see another week. Alright, then over here. Actually, this works. Okay. This blue over here as well. Okay. Actually, I do want to go back to this first panel a little bit, just real quick, and also add some action lines here. Yeah, because I feel like this way... This movement is a little bit awkward, right? Like, because the ship is going in one direction and Horatio is moving in the opposite. But I think it still works. I don't know. I don't like leaving ambiguities like that, though. I'll have to be better in the future. Okay. Okay. Other arm. I feel like I'm in like some kind of specialty salon. Okay, now give me the other arm. All right, now we got both your sides. Okay, you can step into the tanning bed now. Okay, then grab all this. This part too. All right, now we hit this thing with the brain destroyer. God, yeah, that bruise looks really nasty. I did a good job with this. Okay. Okay, area scaling +1. You know what I never really understood? That phone a friend bonus. You know how like in some quiz shows you have like phone a friend? I feel like I don't know. I feel like unless you're friends with like local experts on a subject matter, I don't know. Like was the thing that the friend is allowed to give you like auxiliary research? Was that what you could do? Because I feel like otherwise, if you're just calling some random dude to be like, "Hey Jerry, yeah, you know me. Hey, do you know what like the resistance of like a 3 ohm resistor is?" And like they'd be like, "No, I don't fucking know that. We haven't taken physics since high school. What are you talking about? Where are you?" Also, I think ohm is like the resistance, so I feel like that question would answer itself. I don't know. I don't remember much about my own physics classes. I remember ohms had something to do with resistors, and resistors in turn, well, they resist things. I feel like there has to be some kind of correlation. I really like resistors because they have these funny looking colorful bands on them to tell you how strong their power level is. I always thought that was very charming of them. It's crazy that if you study electronics, you can basically have like the equivalent of a blue eyes white dragon just in your cabinet, except just like in terms of sheer power. God. What's crazy is that I feel like a lot of like Yu-Gi-Oh characters, early anime decks would have been like out of meta really, really quickly in real life, which is saddening to think about. I'm sorry, Yugi. I know Dark Magician is your guy, but he's getting his ass beaten by like 5 other cards at this stage, and they're all like pretty easy to acquire. Yeah, and the idea is to call your own know-it-all buddy. Yeah, I figured that was the case as well. Like I think if your friends are all dumbasses, you probably don't pick that option. But like then my thing is if you have like a know-it-all buddy, why are they not on the quiz podium right now? Like why are you representing like could you not just like give your spot to like your buddy and let them participate? Like let them fake their ID and let them do your thing for you? I mean, I imagine that a game show fraud isn't like a particularly popular crime, but still, I feel like somebody must have tried that at some point. Okay, then over here. Yeah, no, I think this one has to be like pants back here. Give me that. God, I feel like there has to be like a pretty deep rabbit hole for the topic of game show fraud, where people like lied about like their credentials or something to be on a game show or to win at a game show. I feel like there has to be like some field for that, and I feel like that would be a fascinating topic to explore in detail. Please God, let there be a decent YouTube essay about this topic. I will say I wasn't huge on video essays for a long time, but they've definitely started to grow on me. I think maybe I just hadn't seen a good video essay, or one that I liked rather. You know, everybody has their own kind of like. I feel like I saw a Price is Right video on that exact thing. Nice. I'll have to look that up. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like everybody has like their one exception. Like they'll go like, "Oh, I don't like that genre. Oh, I'm not interested in that. Oh, but like we have like one exception. Everybody gets like one exception for like their own personal preferences. Like I don't like this except this guy. Or like if you don't have an exception like that, you might like eventually find it. I feel like everybody's allowed like one of those. Okay, then over here. And over here. Lovely. I avoided H-Phone's video for a while, and then I finally watched it, and I was like, yo, are y'all seeing this shit? Yeah, right? I don't know. For me, like, recently, it's less so that I avoid them because I'm like, I don't feel like it. And more so, like, I have to be in the right zone of mind for this. Like, I need to be strapped in. Like, I need to find, like, a special night to break this thing out for. Like it's some kind of, like fine wine that I inherited from like a dead relative. By God, the way that guy does those videos. I feel like having just this bottom part like that works pretty well. Okay. Then this one here. This one here. Okay. I gotta go back to the other layer real quick to just color in this part here. It looks like I missed some of it, but then after that, we should just be able to... grab this. But yeah, I mentioned the other day that I've started watching like these Ultima these like videos on the development and the plot of some of the Ultima PC games. And I think it's a much more interesting video than any of the other ones that I've watched on the subject, because it also dives a lot into like the actual background and history of this. Like, for example, the fact that like Ultima 1, for example, has space travel despite it being pretty much a solid fantasy game, like for 90% of its runtime, is because the Richard Garriott's dad was an astronaut and he wanted to be one too, but he couldn't pass a, I think it was his eyesight or something that like made it so that he couldn't be an astronaut. Which is sad, but it's like it contextualizes so much of it. Like having that knowledge helps you understand so many of the decisions that were happening at the time, and also gives you a lot of more appreciation for like the development of the game itself. Like for example, the fact that the games were written in like one of the first programming languages ever, like BASIC, I think, and that like the first game ran almost entirely on BASIC, and then the second game onward used this code called assembly, which has like 600 different variants depending on like what you want, to the point that like the guy who was developing the game, he was learning like at university where he was studying computer science. He had a course on how to write assembly code. But the thing is, the code that he used in assembly for that class and the code he used to program the game were sufficiently different that his programs were like inefficient in class because he kept using the tricks that he learned while developing the game, and vice versa. I don't know. That's just so fascinating to me. Because like even though they work on fundamentally the same principles, they just have these fair nuances to each one that it actually does add up. I don't know, just hearing how much more, I don't know how to describe it, rough programming was back in that era is just very inspiring. And this was and the thing that impresses me even more is this was like 5 or 6 years back. They were using those punch cards and whatnot, so that's like a huge upgrade right there. And like the other thing is like halfway through the second video, they discuss like the guy is discussing like the different versions of the game, and notes like the reason that and like he even said like, yeah, no, the first couple games didn't actually have any sound in them except like certain sound effects because sound cards were not widely available in most computers at that point. It took the development of this one little gadget called like the Mockingbird to make it so that almost every home computer then also had a sound card. That's so goddamn cool. All right, grab this. Okay, I think we're almost done with Hawk. We just need to do the leather shading. Okay. So how's that look all put together? It's a little rough, but we can work with it. Hold on. Where is... Ah. Okay, so then the shading goes here. I need to reduce the shading on this side by a lot. Okay, then use the Moe pen right here. And that way we can add some more here for Hawk. And I feel like that's going to help the perspective a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I don't think the floor needs like a texture. I mean, Okay, maybe the floor just doesn't need this texture. Let's see what else what all we can do with this. Maybe. How about this? Whoops, wrong one. Okay, and then perspective. Okay, and then maybe we can. My only thing is that with this, it looks a little bit like stone tile rather than metal. I wonder if that might be a way we can like. Oh, huh. Interesting. Hold on. I got an idea. Again. And then also grabbing this one. All right, let's tuck all of these into a folder. So here's the game plan. I am going to rasterize this, and I'm going to apply a color gradient. I have like gradients for metal surfaces. In particular, I'm looking for one like, I don't know, maybe copper. Kind of want a more bluish metal, so maybe we can go over to this section of the aisle. Yeah, I don't think this is going to work out. No texture. I need a slightly thinner pen. Okay. And what the other thing we can do is to add some white impact right here. A nice kind of like clong to the occasion. Describing certain visuals and words as onomatopoeia is generally seen as poor practice, but sometimes it really do be like that. Sometimes that shit just is straight up a clong, and there's nothing you can do about it. Much how like you have to take occasionally the opportunity to call a spade a spade. You need to call a clong a clong. That's just how it is. Okay, what layer is this on? Hang on. Oh, I'm like on a completely different fucking layer. That's why. All right, that explains everything. There we go. Yeah, okay. And then we just have to tap in with some. Hang on. Can I like. Hang on. I've got an idea for how to do this. Alright, so that's going to come in like. Okay. Add a little bit of a stroke here. Then second step, same as the first. Second verse, same as the first, I mean. Okay, and then we use a eraser here and here. What am I doing? Hang on. Time to pull out Old Reliable. It really is crazy how versatile this sea urchin flash is. It's been like genuinely, it's been the MVP of this whole comic. All right, rasterize this, and then use the border effect again. And then we go back in one last time. Okay, use a rough eraser here. Okay, then over here, use the hard eraser. All right. Then just a few little edits right here. Firstly, just to round out this thing, this little curve. It's bothering me that it's not the exact shape that I want it to be. And then the other thing is adding like an additional stroke right here. Okay, now okay, here's what let's do. Rasterize this. Fix up this part a little bit because it still looks a little off. And then on this white section, do Old Reliable of speed lines. I need to start getting. I need to stop referring to everything as Old Reliable. At this point, I have like 15 different Old Reliables, and for some reason, I feel like each one I add makes the other 14 look less reliable. Well, it's not bad to have a wide repertoire of tricks, but still. I feel like there has to be a limit to what you can refer to as old reliable. Fact checked. Neither old nor reliable. This is a relatively recent technique he's developed, and it only works sometimes. Okay. I think that's something that I really want to learn to do properly in a few centuries. Nah. Probably before I do my next comic project is figure out how to do better speed lines or action lines. I feel like I understand them on like a principle basis, but only if it's like in black and white. As for these next few panels, I'll figure these out on my own time. It's about time to wrap up. Is anybody streaming right now? Who up doing wrenching their thing asunder? Left panel looks so cool, right? I think I really it started to come together pretty well, so I'm really happy with it. Although I might actually do something more with these stars. We're gonna go raid. Well, excuse me, who is doing a subathon right now. So let's go say hi to them. All right. In the meantime, I'll be publishing a schedule for next week sometime today, and I'll see you all later. Bye.